Good morning, everyone. We are live today, and we're still trying to figure this out as we go. I
Still
think,
0 viewers, so we're okay.
well, awesome, but
Okay.
people will come back and check it out later. Will, you're working on cameras as well as we speak, right?
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
We are live streaming this. I know that Matt started off with good morning, everybody. It's all right. It's good morning, good evening, and good night, wherever you are all around the world. We got free thinkers in many different countries, actually.
Whoa! If I put in Matt Kim podcast in the thing, then the first thing that pops up is Matt Kim. The second thing that pops up is Matt Kim podcast Titan, and then Matt Kim podcast submarine. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Apparently, that's some of your most clicked stuff.
I guess so.
So welcome, everybody, to a late night stream. Some of you guys might see it early in the morning. So hopefully this is going to be a welcome content segment for you this morning.
So I think we're in now. Trying to figure out how this goes. We'll give it a second to the people. And usually people, when they start these streams, they have like the music and it's going and doing all of this. And we don't know how to do that yet.
It's all good.
Trying to
People
figure it
can
out as we
replay
go.
So we got to keep it going.
And boom. So
Sounds
welcome
good.
everybody.
Welcome,
This is
welcome.
all like kind of an experiment. When was the last time we did a live stream like this?
In the old office was the last time. So
It's been a while.
So this is one of those things, guys, where we're not looking for perfection here. We're looking for experimentation. So we got a whole switch deck. We got Will rocking the ones and twos over there, our DJ producer. So we're trying to figure out how we can stream on YouTube and Twitter and Instagram and all these different sites simultaneously. So it's one of those things where you got to kind of go through the growing pains, yeah.
And if this is something we want to do regularly, I'd like to add this as a kind of facet of what we do. I know that I'm like out of breath. We've been running around for like 15, 20 minutes trying to figure out how to turn this thing on. So if you guys are new, like welcome. Sorry, it's like one of these impromptu starts. We couldn't figure out how to get the video on.
Yeah, and it would almost be a shame not to actually talk about the actual solution.
It was like a mess. For 45 minutes, I've been trying to figure out how to get video into the stream. And after like changing all the cables, after looking through endless YouTube videos on how to troubleshoot this thing.
Yep, I was on Reddit looking that shit up.
The solution was to unplug it and plug it back in.
Hard reset, guys. Blow in the cartridge for those who understand that metaphor there. We needed to blow in the cartridge, man. That's all we needed to do.
Yeah, I was I was live streaming on Latino Free Minds. What's up, guys? And I was going into their live stream and we were using the same Blackmagic 810 mini setup. And we couldn't get the video going. So eventually I did my iPhone and I went in that way because there was no other way to do it. And all we had to do, because we haven't turned, that machine doesn't have on-off button. It's hardwired in. So we have to physically unplug it. And we haven't unplugged it in like a month.
The basics, guys. The basics.
It's one of those
all
things.
Good. Well, we're glad you're here. You're joining the free thinkers, the free thinker movement.
Yeah. I think we have the YouTube, we have the Instagram people kind of up as well, trying to see if we can get them in.
Oh, really?
So
are they on now too?
I don't know. We have it live streaming on Instagram as well, so that people know that we're here. So if you guys are here, I mean, we have a lot of the regulars here. What's up, guys? Thanks for coming around. Thanks for joining the stream.
I don't see the Instagram live stream running.
Will not turn it on. Will didn't turn it on.
He's just throwing blame.
Yeah.
Blame and shame.
Will didn't hit the button. All you had to do was hit the button, bro.
Blame and shame, guys, this today.
We are going to get into topics. We are going to get into conversation. Again, typically when people do a live stream, they'll let it just run in a waiting room for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
We don't know how to do that yet. So this is our waiting room. We're just going to kill some time, have a lot of fun. And dude, how sick. I wish we could move the camera around because we've added like random features to the studio.
But that's actually the benefits. We have 267 people on Instagram live right now.
And they're trying to figure out
331.
Hey, Will, why don't you put a comment in saying how you can find out how to get here? Yeah. Because I'm sure there's a lot of people watching on Instagram Live that want to figure out how to get into this. And we need to maybe put it in the description or write it in. I try to put it into the title, but it's not that easy, you know? So again, we're experimenting. We're trying to figure things out. And it's been kind of a crazy week, so I feel like we got a lot of topics to hit. Typically, we would record at this time to upload our episode tomorrow.
Yep.
But because we already put up an official episode this week, and if you haven't seen it, definitely go check that out. But because we haven't done that yet, we decided we're just gonna stream tonight.
Yeah, and that's our prerogative because this is the Matt Kim show, and Matt Kim can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Will is so busy; he's usually on point with the sound effects. But today he is so busy trying to figure out how to use Instagram Live that he's like completely turned around. He has no idea how to figure this thing out. And yeah.
No, he's typing shit. That's all.
Is he typing?
He's typing. He's doing the Lord's work, man. My brother in Christ, you're doing a great job.
Yeah, we were watching some Tomorrowland YouTube videos earlier. We had the music going in here. The vibe and the energy is super high right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think yes, I think a new tour should be in order after we kind of clean up some of this mess a little bit. But
Yeah.
definitely a new tour. I mean, it's and if I can say, if you're in our Discord channel, then you
Yes.
would know this because
True.
you would see Matt dancing to EDM music.
Was I
trance,
dancing?
Techno. He was kind of doing something. He was moving a body part. And this entire room can literally turn into a trance house.
Yeah, we got lights. We got RGB lights at the ceiling above the track lighting. We have it on the walls. We have it in the shelves. We have it in our little hexagon thing, which I think is cool as hell.
Yes.
What's your handicap for golf, Matt? My low is a 5.2. I think I'm sitting at like a 5.9 or something like that. But I haven't kept official score in 6 months. So
is that good?
If you're a single handicap, then that means you can play.
Okay.
I can play with most people. Like I can just go out there and have fun and enjoy myself. It doesn't mean I'm going to win any tournaments with that.
I think if I can add anything to this conversation, I think the best score I ever got on a full 18 was like, I think it was like 121.
That's pretty good.
Is that
sure? Why not?
Isn't that like a handicap of 40?
I mean, at 121, it's a long day. We're having fun.
Might have been 111. Is that better?
Fun.
Is that not much better?
Lower is better.
Okay.
So I'd like to be out if I can do 18 holes and anything around 80. I'm feeling pretty good these days. So if I can shoot maybe a 81, 82, I'm not that mad about it. If I can shoot 79, I'm ecstatic. And if I'm shooting an 84, 85, 86, and I'm kind of annoyed.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, I don't know. I play a lot. I haven't played in a while though. I don't know what I'm going to do because I'm moving up north. And when I move up north, what do you do? What do you do? Do I switch golf clubs? I don't know. Something to figure out.
What do you mean switch golf clubs?
Because I'm going to be living up north. I'm living like 30 miles north.
I thought you meant golf clubs, like the tool you use to play. It's like, why would you change your clubs?
Having a golf conversation with a non-golfer is like just pounding your head against the wall.
Dude, I just went. Did I just go full retard? And you're not supposed to go full retard?
I don't know.
Are you allowed to say that, or is that a word that is cancelable now?
I don't know, but I do feel like if we live stream regularly on YouTube, the amount of time that we're going to be allowed to stream before we're eventually kicked off YouTube, it can't be that long. How long do you think we can make it on YouTube?
What do you mean?
I mean, if we were to go
guys, he gave me that face. He's
if we were to go
that's
unfiltered, uncensored, YouTube and we went live for 2 hours.
Are you saying
it's just a matter of time before damn it, I kind of wish Peter didn't say that.
Oh, he's blaming me now. Shit, Will, I'm getting the meme too.
So how long would it be before we kind of got kicked off of YouTube?
I can be disciplined. I can not say the N-word.
I don't know. I think we would make it maybe a couple weeks.
You think so?
Yeah, but eventually they're gonna be like, all right, you guys gotta.
I'm far more disciplined than you imagine.
You think?
If you give me the constraints of this is a live stream and you have to keep your mouth clean, my wife would appreciate that anyway. Then yeah, I could do that.
Bro,
I can make sure that I am not the issue.
You can do whatever you want with your life. It's your life.
All right. Well, the N-word's about to be said in 3, 2.
No.
No.
It was at this moment he fucked up.
Well, welcome everybody, guys, to the Matt Kim live stream. We are doing some testing and experimentation today. We're also going to be getting in the news soon. So there's a lot's been happening. There's been some seismic shakeups in the world in this last week.
So with everything going on in Israel and Palestine, right? I've been thinking about it because people are like, Matt, what would you do if this was Korea?
That's bring it home.
And I've been thinking about this, right? And I've been thinking about this island. There's an island in Korea called Dokdo. Do you know Dokdo Island?
Yeah.
So Dokdo Island is a tiny island. It's like maybe a couple islands. But Dokdo Island is the main island. It's like 20 acres, so it's not a huge island. I believe there's one resident that lives there.
Oh, really?
And the Korean Navy patrols it.
Oh.
It is smack dab in the middle of Korea and Japan. And this island has been highly contested for years.
So I think the one individual is a conservationalist.
No, it's an old lady.
Oh, is it?
She feels like it's her job and duty that if someone didn't live on that island, if someone Korean didn't live on that island at all times, we would give it up.
Oh, okay.
So she's something like 80 or 90 years old, and she still lives there.
Well, then we need a government conservationalist to move out there so that we can keep that going.
I think there's some like Coast Guard and whatever, and they do some tours there. So I think maybe 50 people a day visit it.
Oh, really?
But it's smack dab in the middle of Korea and Japan.
Okay.
According to Korean maps, Dokdo belongs to Korea. According to Japanese maps, they have it a different name. I think it's called Takesha or something like this. Takesha, is that not the name?
He was talking about his ex-girlfriend. Takesha.
And
oh my gosh.
And this,
how long did you have to go back for that girlfriend?
Takesha. It's something like that.
Like
and
Takashi.
Takashi.
And it's smack dab in the
man. Samsonite, you were way off, bro.
It's right between Korea and Japan. And according to the Japanese, it belongs to them. According to the Koreans, it belongs to them. And they've been fighting over this plot of land for years.
Yes.
Why are you doing the hand thing?
You notice I got the hand of power?
Why you got the hand of power going on?
Just trying to channel the inner top G.
So according to Korean history, this island goes back to 5080. There's records of it being in Korean history books as a Korean island. The Japanese claim it as their island since I think 1400 something. And there's always conflict about this island. In Korean, they say Dokdo는 우리 땅, right? Which means Dokdo is our land.
Yeah.
Every Korean knows this saying because it's one of those things that everyone in Korea feels so strongly about. And if Japan were to ever go in and try to take that island, there would be a war. It's that culturally important for this island.
Kind of like Taiwan.
But no one lives there. It's more symbolic.
Yeah.
I mean, both countries have a population issue, so they're not going to be able to occupy any other foreign lands.
It's a tiny island. But the reality is that, and depending on which map you look at, it could say it belongs to Korea or it belongs to Japan. Most maps say it belongs to Japan. I don't care what map I ever look at. I don't care who tells me otherwise. Forever in my mind, I will think Dokdo belongs to Korea.
Why?
That's a cultural thing, right? I've been taught that since I was so young that there's no history, and what kind of rational, logical explanation someone else has, I will never give into that.
So this is a cultural worldview.
Correct.
Right. Because it's not even really a decision. It's right. It's almost just an understanding. So it's more of a cultural worldview that is part and parcel of the narrative that you heard when you were growing up in Korean culture.
Everyone in Korea knows it to be true.
The first time that I heard about this island when I was living in Korea. So for me, as a non-native living in, or growing up in Korea, this was not part of my cultural narrative.
Any Korean will ever tell you ever meet will say Dokdo is our land. And I've been thinking about it because when you talk about these historical conflicts, right? Because this is a 5,000-year-old conflict, 3,000-year-old conflict, right? Over whose land this is. if you were raised to believe one thing, it doesn't matter what the other side says. It
Mm.
doesn't matter what other people commentary on it. You will never change your mind.
Mhm.
And that's just an island that no one inhabitates. Now take that to something like Israel and Palestine, where not
Mm.
only is it a very similar situation, but they actively live there.
Mm.
You will never convince one side or the other that it's not their land.
Mm.
It's never going to happen. And then they're fighting and there's war. Then what do you do?
Mm.
How do you, because I've been getting these messages. I've been getting messages on Instagram from both people that are actively living in Israel and people that are actively living in Palestine.
Mm.
And the people from Palestine are like, hey, there's a lot of death here.
Mm.
We're scared.
Mm.
You need to talk about this.
Mm.
People that live in Israel are like, hey, there's a lot of death here. We're scared. You need to talk about this. And I'm
Interesting.
thinking, like, damn, how do you pick a side when both sides legitimately believe what they believe?
If I were to correct the statement you just made, I think you would say, if you were to restate it, you would say, we don't want to choose a side,
Hmm.
but the market and the community and just the larger world, it makes it far easier to pick a side because then you have an enemy.
Yes.
Then you have anchoring to your logic. And but what you're saying, if I can extrapolate, is that if you were born in Korea, grew up in Korea, grew up in the cultural, morass of Korea, then this island that is contested between Japan and Korea is just for you, it's just is what it is. It's Korea's land.
It forever will be.
And it's because you were born into this worldview.
Mhm.
You're born into this, this mental model. Likewise, with those who are born, the next generations in Israel and Palestine, they don't know anything different.
No.
This is we call it the matrix, but this is their reality,
Mhm.
right? Their parents live and raise them in this place. It just so happens to be called Palestine or Israel. Both sides, whether you're Muslim or whether you're Jew, for both all those people that were raised there, this is just how they see it. And so the conflict is, how do you overcome deep-seated worldviews and mental models that, frankly, just like you said, almost no logic or reason or rationale could ever convince you otherwise?
You will never convince me otherwise.
So here's a question. Is there and can there be peace within that stalemate?
So we talk about Palestine, we talk about Hamas.
Mm.
I looked into it a little bit. It looks like there's approximately 30,000 Hamas soldiers, and there are 2 million Palestinians that live there.
I think I remember reading numbers like that too.
So you're talking about 1%,
Mm.
less than 1% are the terrorists or a part of the terrorist organization,
Radicals, yeah.
radicals, and the other 99% are just regular people.
Like you and I.
Correct. They just want to live their lives. I
Exactly.
think we can both agree that most people living in their countries just want to live a normal life.
Yeah, we talked about this in Tuesday's episode.
Yes. They just want to be free or
Mm.
relatively free, or
Mm.
they just want to provide for their families.
Mm.
They just want to be able to move forward.
No doubt.
And the idea that you're going to bomb all of them to get 30,000 people, I have a hard time with that.
Well,
I have a really hard time
can
with
I add
that.
a little bit of spice into this?
Yeah.
The spice is that the contexts are different. Well, clearly, it's Korea versus Palestine versus Israel. But we can't miss a very particular abstraction of the narrative of the Korean culture versus the Palestine and Israel conflict, which is, you weren't born in Korea saying that our neighbors who are fighting in this contested land are our enemies.
Hmm.
You have two cultures clashing in this place called Palestine, right? And both these cultures, if you just listen to the very far left and far right, these cultures grew up hating each other. Now, whether they actually hate each other, whether their parents actually taught them to hate the other side, is up to question. But I think you and I can both agree, and we talked about this in Tuesday's episode, and we've talked about this on other episodes, is that race is not something. Being racist is not something that is learned on their own.
Hmm.
Your child isn't born racist. My child's weren't born. That's a culturally taught thing. So here's the abstraction. Is it because both for the internet trolls and the internet warriors and the internet sleuths out there who want to correct me and jump down my throat, that's fine. I might get this wrong, but from what I understand is that both the Jewish culture of the people that are living there and the Palestinians that are living there, they're raised in an environment where they're taught to hate each other. Is that the dynamic that we have here? Is that the major differential between the Korean example and this Israel-Palestine example? Is that there's an active part of hatred that is communicated and grown in these children? Is that the issue?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Because I spoke to one lady that was living in the West Bank of Israel. She messaged me yesterday or last night. And she was like, I don't understand what's going on. We're scared, etc. She said she and her husband work with Palestinians all the time. They come across the border and they work together. Their housekeeper or the person that watches their kids is Palestinian. Her husband's business partner is Palestinian. They engage and deal with them every day. To them, it's just normal people. So the idea of most people that are living there, it's not that they have to hate. They've gone past the part of hate. It's more like leadership.
I know exactly where you're going.
I feel like most people in the world are generally accepting of other people at this point. When we talk poorly of, Iran is so extreme. It's a small segment of Iran leadership that is extremist, that are probably really bad people. The rest of the people there are like phenomenal. So and that's the hard part of it. How many people, if we know that there are so many good people out there, and I just think that because I've been getting so many messages, I'm like, damn, if these people follow me from Palestine, from Jordan, from Israel,
Egypt,
right? From Egypt, and they're watching the content, they're in the live streams, they're hanging out. I'm like, they want to see the world with a bigger worldview. They're here and they're in my page and they're in our podcast and they're in our YouTube because they enjoy the idea that we can think beyond what's taught. Meaning there are good, normal people out there questioning the authority, questioning their narrative, questioning the establishment. They exist. I don't feel right that we're trying to sacrifice them.
I understand exactly where you are. And if we go down to really the base level, which you and I both fundamentally agree on, is that 99.9% of the entire world just want to get the fuck on with life.
Yes.
They want to grow. They want to be prosperous. They want to raise their family. They don't want to have shit. They want to be able to watch Netflix and chill. Like, they're just regular human beings. And for your example of the lady who DM'd you in Instagram, she's living in a world that you and I live in.
Yeah.
You and I interact with a multiplicity of races every day. And most of those engagements are transactional, right? I give you money, you give me product, food, whatever, right? Housekeeper was an example you had there. And so, like, we don't really see race in that. It's just, this is a good service. You do a good service, and I'm willing to pay commensurately for that service. I think it would be a safe assumption to say that 99% of all the people who just want to get the fuck on with life are also like that as well. They're just transactional with other races and other people. They don't care where you came from. Are you doing a good job? Right? Are you going to be sweet to me? Are you going to say nice things? Are we going to just be cordial? I think that's where most of the world is. And so I think it would be not only easy, but it is right for both of us to point the finger at leadership. Absolutely. Because without leadership, without planning, none of this stuff would ever really happen. Right? We have a major, and this has been through the centuries, just ridiculously dysfunctional and poorly incentivized leadership. That's the key. The poor incentives.
Because I think, and when someone said, what happens if someone were to attack Korea? And I've been thinking about that all day.
It's going to happen someday.
And Korea and Japan historically hate each other. Historically hate each other, right?
There's been some war crimes, yes.
There's been unlimited war crimes between Japan and Korea. And up to recently of World War II, at each other's throats, the older generation, my grandfather's generation, hates everything Japanese. They were forced to speak Japanese. They were told that they have to give up their culture. And over the years, that tension has waned away.
Yes.
It's not as strong as it
should. Generations.
Anytime Japan says, we're going to take Tokyo, it's our land, people in Korea actually stopped buying Japanese stuff.
Really?
Yeah, the last
Really?
time they tried to make a claim that it was theirs, people in Korea stopped buying Japanese cars, and you were ridiculed, and you couldn't go into Uniqlo.
Really?
Uniqlo went out of business because of that in Korea.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, no more high chews?
no,
Damn.
they said if you say that, we're out. You guys are out. We're not buying your stuff.
Oh, it's all right.
So
Shin ramyun's better than the Japanese ramen.
so they pulled back on that. But the reality is, people go back from Korea and Japan all the time.
Oh yeah.
They get along really well, and I think it's because both are economically doing relatively well.
And there's been a huge surge. I don't know why I know this, but I went deep on this for a little bit. There's a huge surge of Japanese and Korean matchmaking
Hmm.
because the Koreans like the Japanese men and the Japanese women like the K-pop, K-drama. I mean, seriously, like there are entire organizations. I don't know why I know all
Peter
this.
loves K-drama.
I do vicariously understand and have seen probably most of it. And so, yes, there's a huge industry of these women that are trying to find Korean men. And so, yeah, there's a lot of love. There's a lot of love in the economics of Korea and Japan. Let's put it that way.
But I think it's only possible because both countries are relatively thriving over the rest of the world.
Mm.
In thinking about Israel and Palestine, one is doing very well.
Mm.
The other one is doing horrific.
Yeah.
And that's going to create a misbalance in itself.
Yeah. I was reading one pundit, forgot her name. It escapes me right now, but she was talking about how in a lot of ways we're missing the class issue. That there's a big disparity between the Jewish class and the Palestinian local class. Now, I don't know a whole lot about it, but I can see that also adding to tensions. But I think for us to move away from postulating about what people feel like on the ground, I think you said it very clearly. You got people inbound from both sides of the equation. We're scared. We don't know what's going on, and we don't like it, right? We'd like peace. So,
the scariest part of all of this is that it's such a propaganda war.
well, that's exactly where I was going. Is that, and I don't, in fear of, I don't fear offending people, but we have been through the fastest amount of recycling psyops in the last 10 years. Then, I mean, it's speeding up. Like, it's almost impossible to keep up with all the psyops, right? We had this COVID psyop, then we had Ukraine psyop, we had interspersed shootings and little explosions, like like the oil line that was between Russia and Ukraine, or Russia and
Nord Stream pipeline.
Nord Stream pipeline. Like, it's like psyop after psyop after psyop. And so, something I was telling Will, I think it was before we started in this podcast, was like, I'm waiting for the pro-Israel / pro-Palestine bumper stickers, like that type of mind control. I mean, so I'm not trying to please, guys, I'm not trying to make light of the situation, but does this not reek of another psyop? Is that why we're not going to last long on YouTube streaming?
Well,
because I'm asking the obvious question.
There was Israel and Palestine have been fighting forever.
No question.
Forever.
No question.
And every few years, this pops up in the news, and anyone who doesn't take Israel's side is considered like a horrible person.
So yes,
but it's never been to this level or degree ever. This is the worst I've ever seen it.
Well, every time it's happening, the ante is up.
This is the last time I've seen both sides in unison scream for war.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say it's 9/11.
There has been a very powerful unification narrative that has happened for sure.
When the right and the left and all sides of the propaganda media, when they all say the same thing, I get nervous.
Oh, I almost get into the clown world satire. I'm almost waiting for another late night news host to get in a costume and start dancing. Like it's not syringes that they're dancing in Colbert, but you're dancing in like Israel versus Palestine. Pick one. I mean, I don't know. We live in this clown fiesta of a media apparatus where it's almost like you expect the clown fiesta and the clown show to happen, and you're just waiting for the shoe to drop.
So, just a quick reminder of what happened during 9/11, because that's the parallel I think of.
And it might seem weird that you're actually going to review this, but we have people in our audience who literally weren't born yet.
Well, we it just
Born
we
at
just
the
need
time.
the historical context,
Yeah.
right? 3,000 people died during 9/11. Because of 9/11, we spent approximately $8 trillion in war,
20 years.
20 years, and killed approximately 1 million people in active duty.
Yeah.
For 3,000 people that died, and some people question why they died. We decided that we are going to go to war, and we know now they didn't even know who the enemy was.
Nope.
They just decided that we're going to go to war because someone has to pay, because both sides said we demand retaliation, strength through force, and someone has to pay. They didn't care who paid. They just started bombing.
Yep.
They killed 1 million people for doing it.
Yes. And you might find videos of certain Department of Defense directors actually citing out years prior all of the places that we were going to invade. And
Correct.
it all happened. Syria, Lebanon, right? Venezuela, right? And then Iraq, Iran. And it all happened in the right succession. And so 9/11 was a perfect time to get into the next, Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan. Like, well timed, well played, puppet masters.
20 years, $8 trillion, 1 million people dead.
So the ratio,
No weapons of mass destruction.
Oof, that's a big oof.
There was none.
0.
And
That's
that
rough.
was the reason we went into Iraq.
I know, the wrong pretense.
And then you figure out, okay, killed 1 million people. Most of them were probably innocent because they were not involved.
Yeah, the ratio of
And then you're like, why are they so mad at us? And you're like, oh, I can kind of figure out why they're so mad.
And when you kill someone's family,
You're creating extremists.
you're creating an extremist.
You're creating them.
Like, let's be intellectually honest. I mean, if I don't think we're in Atlanta, Georgia. We don't live in a society, that is mimics or is similar to the context of what's happening over in Palestine. Peace, we get that, but like, you'd lose your shit if you had your house bombed and your family was killed and you were
Scorched earth.
and you know what? I'd take a giant couple steps back. And I wouldn't intervene. I'd let you fucking do you. I'd be like, bro.
Yeah, there's nothing
I'd
you can
let
do to
you
stop
do
me.
you.
There's
Yeah,
nothing you can do to
exactly.
stop me. There's nothing.
Yeah, because I wouldn't want you pointing that pea shooter at me. So I mean, and I'm saying this somewhat in jest, somewhat in, but at the same time, like, I know Matt, like, scorched earth, baby. I would not step in your way. So I get it. So we have these history lessons. 3,000 people died in 9/11, 2011, 2001. 9/11, and the ratio for 3,000 people was that we potentially created 500,000, 1 million extremists.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like a good deal.
No.
Sounds like a terrible deal.
And then I think of, what do we lose because of 9/11?
Ugh. Should we go over all the bills, the Patriot Act?
Patriot Act, creation of Patriot Act, which now they can monitor everything you read, say, communicate, everything.
You use the wrong tense. They are monitoring.
They've created the TSA,
Yep.
which they make you do your little dance before you go into the airport and pretend they're openly mocking you.
Yes, it's called security theater.
They created Department of Homeland Security,
Yeah,
which has spent the last few years going after right-wing extremists, and they're actually in charge of the border, which they've been doing a great job at.
It's actually the irony of every one of our departments is they use slogans that are the exact opposite of what they're actually doing. Like when you say gender affirming care, what you really mean is I'm going to mutilate you. So when they say Homeland Security, what they're actually saying is we're going to terrorize our own citizens and not do a good job keeping out non-citizens. That's literally what they're doing. So there's a little bit of irony there, tongue in cheek, I suppose, but they're not doing a great job.
They also gave the president the right to go after anyone that's considered enemy of the state
without Congress approval.
And that list is classified. So the president of the United States, because of 9/11, can go after anyone in the world he wants, and no one's allowed to know about it.
And I mean, we could continue to bring up atrocities like the fact that Gitmo is still open and we still have many, many prisoners there who have gone through zero due process.
So the last time we had a event like this, and I hate it when they call it this is the modern 9/11 because they've been saying that on loop, on repeat. They're doing it in a mocking way. They're telling you what they're doing.
It's part of the ritual, baby.
This is a modern day 9/11, and we know what the result of the modern day, what the previous 9/11 was. We lost our freedoms, we lost our rights, and a shit ton of people died.
Can I ask you a question? How many nations came to our aid and gave America billions of dollars when 9/11 happened?
Hmm.
Do you know the answer?
No.
Answer zero.
Hmm.
So you see the juxtaposition here. When something happens in Cambodia and something happens in a faraway land, why are we the world police? Why does your tax money and my tax money have to go to bullets and bombs? Is that why we're not going to last long in YouTube streams?
Yes, that's exactly why. But
the question I'm asking isn't unfair,
no.
right?
And then you have these politicians going, let's go to war.
The
And
Lindsey Graham statement fucking killed me, bro.
Fucking Lindsey Graham, dude. That guy is the worst warmonger in the world. And I also found out that he doesn't even have kids. So he doesn't even care what happens in the future.
He doesn't give 2 fucks.
Not at all.
Because he doesn't have a future. His bloodline ends here.
He has no care about what happens in the future.
Your bloodline ends here, bro.
It is so easy to act so brave and send someone else's kids to war.
Of course, you have nothing at stake.
And when I hear that from a guy like that, I'm like, this guy's the worst.
He's the worst.
And it's not. People want to say the Democrats are doing this. The Uniparty, they're both doing this. Again, when you see both sides join together for a common cause, which is war and death and murder, with the end result of you losing your freedoms and rights, this is not a good thing.
We are moving, Matt, into an unsustainable economic and political environment. We're giving all this money to Ukraine, and now we're going to be given potentially and unlocking even more funding to another location. Peace and love. I don't want nobody to die. War sucks. But there ain't nobody in Switzerland or Cambodia or South Korea or Japan or Germany giving us money, giving us support. Like, I heard this, and this is somewhat non-contextual, but there's some relevance here, is something that shocked me to my core. And I don't know why I was so shocked at this time, but it must have been a decade ago, maybe 2008, 2009, 2010, around that time period, when a Korean pastor that I was talking to, he said that some of the greatest exports of missionaries out of Korea is to America. Now you might say, why does it shock you so much? Because has America become so godless that Korean missionaries are now coming to America to proselytize the name of Jesus to Americans? Like, this is the wrong demographic for that. But I hope you understand my point, is that if Koreans aren't exporting money to us, right? They're exporting pastors to convert, I guess, Americans to Christianity, because that's what they need. But we don't get international support like we give it out. We are the world police, and it bothers me a lot. Doesn't that concern you? Doesn't it concern you that billions, trillions of dollars of our taxpayer money is going to other countries? That just doesn't sit with me, man.
And on the other frame of it, right? If you try to at least consider the other side, right now we are sending 2 aircraft carriers to Israel.
Yeah, I saw that on Twitter.
They're on the way.
They're on the way. DHL next day.
There is the argument that a show of force will prevent war. At least consider the idea.
Aren't they doing like 360,000 Israeli troops on the ground right now?
All right. There is the idea that if you drop ammunition, if you show force, you show that America has their back, people are like, all right, we don't want to go into a world war. And so it's like a game of chicken. Someone's got to flinch. The problem with the game of chicken is what happens if nobody flinches. But let's give Joe Biden the benefit of the doubt, because if he pulls this off, people are like, oh, what if that's the whole thing? What if
This man's playing 5D chess, bro.
What
Did you
if-
really go that far?
yeah,
You-
what if Joe Biden's like, you are not going to attack Israel. We stand with Israel. We are not going to allow war. I'm Joe Biden. I'm sending the troops. And everyone says, all right, good job. We don't want to do it because Joe Biden said so. And he's going to come back and he's going to look, I saved everybody.
Bro, I can read the Wikipedia entry from 2199. When you go back to the war of 2023 in Israel and Palestine, and who's the picture there? The hero Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Go Brandon.
Yeah.
You know, he saved the day. I mean, that's what Wikipedia is going to say in 2199. It's going to rewrite the
He
entire
saved
history.
that.
He saved the day.
He's after 2 years of conflict in Russia and Ukraine, he won by himself, stopped that,
Oh man.
stops all the wars
Against all odds.
right before election time, and he's hero,
Superman.
Superman. Is that the plan?
Bro,
Dude,
I'm like dying inside. I'm like trying to hold in my shit.
is that impossible? Is that so crazy?
within this within the entire spectrum of possibilities? Yes, it is certainly on the spectrum of possibilities. But you came so far out left field with this, Matt. I was shocked. Like, there's no way that you could ever conceive that at the end of the day that Dark Brandon
Okay,
would save the day.
but it's not his idea because we know he's not making decisions.
Peace, I'm with you on that. But if the optics are going to be that he's like,
Yes,
bro,
he's gonna come back
not like
a
this.
hero
Not like this.
on a horse like Obama on his lion. He's gonna come back in and
Not
be like,
this guy's
I saved humanity.
guy. He's not even awake.
But we're gonna,
He's not even cogent.
and then all the people that were worried about war, that been promoting fear, all the mainstream media that's been saying war,
Is he going to be on
that's been getting into your mind that there's gonna be a war, that there is potentially terrorist threats all over the world.
Yes.
All of a sudden, he comes back and creates peace. Dude, he's gonna win. If that happens, and if that's a narrative, I don't think you can beat him.
I feel
How
like
crazy would that
I don't
be?
know, I feel like I just entered into an episode of Black Mirror, bro. Like, it's not like this.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
like this.
I know. And a lot of people are gonna see right through it. But
But
when
it won't matter though.
it doesn't matter because the media machine on this would be so strong.
He would be on the cover of Time magazine.
Man of the year.
Oh, for sure. Oh,
Dude.
that's just really depressing.
Wow. I never even occurred to me. I thought otherwise.
Bro, you
But
just, like,
talking this out with you, I'm like, oh fuck, this is what's gonna happen.
not like this, guys.
It's
Not like
it's not
this.
impossible.
Can I just say I find it fascinating that for the last 4 or 6 years, literally, the left has been calling everybody literally Nazis, but now they're all supporting killing of Jews.
Because
Come on, can't you guys see your own irony? Come on, gee, come on.
because we know that war is good for the economy.
Yes, it is good for the economy. You're
It's
not-
good
you're not wrong.
for interest rates. It's
It's-
good for
oh.
banking.
Oh, it's good for yes, yeah.
So with war, if it was just a short war, he could solve a lot of the problems that have already been created. He's already say shutting down the border.
Because it's racist.
He's gonna build the racist wall, right? Because even though it's racist,
Oh, these
protecting,
the patterns are adding up. He's actually
Dude.
doing some good things.
he's gonna figure this out. He's gonna wake up and be a hero, and we're gonna be like, what the fuck
All
just
right,
happened?
there's got to be somebody in this live
Wrong.
stream.
And
There's got to
then-
be someone in this live stream who's just like tearing their hair out right
And
now.
then everyone's tearing their hair out. And then the narrative is gonna be, look, do you want the guy who prevented World War III, or do you want the guy
Orange
that's
man bad.
indicted, that is under federal investigation, the one that's probably gonna go to jail, the one that tried to steal your election, the
Mhm.
one that tried to steal democracy from you?
Oh.
Do you want with that guy, or do you want the guy that protected democracy, that saved democracy, that saved all our lives?
Is that where I say is this where oh shit. Is this where I say I want the Indian one? I want the Indian guy.
Now all of a sudden Vivek looks real good, don't he?
Yeah, I know, right? Do we can we just install the Indian guy? Can we just make that happen? Jeez. This is
That's crazy.
it's Black Mirror. This is not a good reality.
This is a Black Mirror type of situation. And this is not something that I had pre-thought before.
Yeah.
But in our conversation, I find it hard to argue against.
Can someone please put me back in the Matrix? The steak was good. The steak was very good in the Matrix. And that's a rough reality, dude.
All right.
I mean, the timing makes a lot of sense. We're
Things-
only, what, 18
Things kind of
months away?
line up.
Yeah. Bro.
You know, what if there is a potential terror attack domestically as well? We use the emergency alert system to broadcast to the country that there is a threat. People get scared, and then all of a sudden DHS or someone else shows up and like, we got him. Don't worry, guys. We protected you. It just adds to the narrative.
You know, that it was eerie when all of my phones went off within like 15 minutes of each other and all that emergency broadcast
They
shit.
weren't testing it. They were making sure that you're aware that it exists.
Yeah, I got a lot
Because
of
they're going to
things.
use it.
Yeah, very inconvenient. You know, can I just extract a little bit of my meta view of everything that you just said, because there's a lot that you said that I think we can unpack. But you just brought up these terrorist attacks that, from what I've heard on Twitter and some of the news sources and some of the legacy media, apparently this Friday is supposed to be it. And there was also one of the leaders who was like, on Friday, everybody, get out your gangsta signs and go do shit. So that wasn't helpful either. But I'm looking at the meta of this. If I were to destroy a country from the inside out, I think one of the most nefarious and insidious things that you could do is you could open up the borders, let millions of middle-aged men stream across your border, and then you would ship those individuals who hate the country and don't share the same cultural values or principles to all the major cosmopolitan cities all around the world. And what you end up having is large gatherings of middle-aged men who only need a fire starter and only need a reason to be upset. One of the best ways to get these types of men upset is if you attack their culture, you attack their religion, their faith. And so if we think about this, I think you guys see where I'm going with this. I mean, if I were to look super negative in this Black Mirror context, we have been successfully infiltrated, and we now have sleeper cells in major cosmopolitan cities, and they don't like what's going on in Palestine. And they might get activated, if you know what I mean.
Let me.
Is this a nightmare?
Let me play.
Is this a nightmare?
Let me lay another level of chess on top of that.
Oof, guys, God, the brother's playing 5D chess. Guys, I'm out of here playing 2D.
In the last month, they've convinced us that there are potentially terrorists all over the country.
Yeah.
Right? We all believe it. That could potentially be true.
7 million people in 10 months.
Correct. We all think it's a reality. We know that they have the ability to warn everyone at the same time. We know that they're driving the idea of fear into everyone's hearts. So when they say, it doesn't even have to actually be an attack anymore. They don't even have to kill anyone. Or they make a sacrifice. It could be anybody.
Or it could be fake CNN jumping in the ditch.
Because if there is any sort of thing that happens that is bad, they can easily say it was terror. And we would all believe it unquestioned no matter what, because we already believe it's going to happen. They've already convinced us of the crime before the crime even happens.
Oh, they
so when the
pre-programmed us, yeah.
We're pre-programmed.
Yeah.
So even if the terrorist attack doesn't actually happen, or there's no cells and there's no sleeper cells and there's no terrorist attack planned, they can still convince us without even having to do it.
Oh, you mean like killing of infants and these types of like shocker news items that actually aren't real?
There is enough fear and there is enough belief that we've had people coming through the border and they're spread apart strategically throughout the country.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone already believes it to be true.
Well, it is true.
So now if there is a terror attack, or even worse, the threat of terror, and we don't know where, but we have to find them. Because we have to find them, we need you to stay home.
Oh, are you talking about lockdown?
We need to start
FEMA
tracking
camps.
your phones. We need to start knowing where you're going, because we're trying to protect you.
Oh, and now we're gonna have access points that you gotta
And because we already believe that that is a reality, we're like, "Oh, really? Oh, please protect us. Here."
oh yes, I'm more massa.
And we've willingly they don't even need to fight. They don't even need to create the chaos. They've already psychologically done the chaos. We already believe it to be true. Why do you even need the event?
Listen, we're talking about it now.
Maybe
we're just part of the problem.
We will willingly give up our rights and freedoms.
Was it Benjamin Franklin who said people who give up their rights for safety deserve neither? Right? If you give up your rights for safety, because safety is always temporary. If you give up your rights, giving up your rights is permanent, right? So I think we live in a world where that's certainly the truth, is that people are constantly giving up their rights for a moment of feeling safe, when in reality, the world is harsh. Sometimes you get colds. Sometimes you get flus. Sometimes you get something that just sucks the life out of you, but you didn't die. Should you be scared of the imminence of that? Probably not. It's going to happen when it happens. But yeah, I understand where you're coming from. This 5D chess game. We live in a world today where we have had 7 million over 10 months stream across the border. They've been strategically placed in multiple cities, and we have a media apparatus that is so good at lying to us, and doesn't matter even if the lie is found out to be fake or false afterwards. The damage has already been done. And this whole emergency response thing that you bring in is kind of like an icing on the cake, because everyone, all 350 million Americans, all got that ping. And most of them, like me, got multiple pings. I got like 5 of them because I got 5 fucking phones. That's the security I'm running.
Trap phone. So
one for one for Big Mike. That's a burner phone. Oh man, this is somewhat depressing. So what is a free thinker? Because that's who we represent. What is a free thinker to think about all this?
Well, number one, you can't give into the fear.
I agree.
They are, even the right are trying to make sure that you're scared.
I'm not like. Can we sit on that? I'm really not liking some of these political pundits, the conservative political pundits.
Can we start calling them out?
Like Ben Shapiro, you have severely disappointed me, man. I thought you were far more sophisticated. Like for you,
you get so damn emotional and uncontrollably emotional. It's a little childish.
He's been retweeting videos that are false,
almost like he has an agenda.
It's just like, bro, I thought you were more diligent than this. I thought you were more sophisticated than this. You know, you're talking about beheading babies. We just saw 7 hours ago that the lady who reported that said it was false, and she retracted the statement, and she deleted the tweet, and they deleted the article. Like, so now you're Ben. We'll just call you out. Ben, you're now spreading false misinformation.
And so many people,
it's fear porn.
So many people are spreading it already.
Yeah.
With him and his platform and his audience, he could show just a hair of restraint.
That's the right word. A little bit of patience and restraint.
A little bit of self-control.
Yeah.
But he's showing himself very volatile.
Yeah.
The inability to think logically under emotional pressure. He's showing himself to be extremely weak.
He is a conservative Jew.
And right. I get he's upset. I understand completely.
That's part of the culture thing we talked about. So there's fair play there, right?
I get it.
Yeah.
But to start retweeting every single video you get because it proves your point.
No, that's poor form.
If you just sat on that video before you retweeted for an hour, be like, oh, this video was like 4 year ago.
That's what I'm talking about, man.
But he's just so angry. He's just like, blah, 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 blah.
The internet the internet's so fast now. They'll be like, dude,
and you can't take that back.
Yeah,
everyone's gonna remember. Everyone's gonna remember how he buckled under pressure. Where he could have been a voice of reason. He could have helped people be less divided, but also bring attention to a matter he cares about. He could have easily taken the higher road on this.
Oh yeah,
and people would respect him for it.
And I think we're not there yet, so maybe we can just trash talk the way that we are. But
cuck.
Yeah, we're just a bunch of little small peniles. It's all good. Maybe I should just speak for myself.
No sound effect.
Dude, he's off his game today. I heard you hitting buttons. There you go. Okay. But like when he has such a vast audience and such a vast influence that I think the word restraint is exactly the right word to use. Is that you he should take a pause right before jumping into the fray, because he essentially, like, there's a saying, I don't know if it's completely accurate, but there's a lot of truth in it. And the
It was
statement
at this moment that
the statement goes, you can't trust an angry man.
Hmm.
And the logic behind that is, once you see a man blow up and explode uncontrollably in anger, he has just undone decades of expectation and understanding of. Does that make sense? Right? And so you have let's go to Ben. Has he soured his
I
grape?
I unfollowed him.
You unfollowed?
I
Oh, okay.
I couldn't do it anymore.
So there's another guy that's great.
Well, last thing about Ben. He is not a big Trump guy.
Oh, he never was. He didn't
And-
believe in the election being fake.
And he doesn't like Trump because he felt like Trump is too emotional and he tweets with no control.
Calling the kettle black.
And
huh?
as soon as he finds something that he cares about, and I get it, he can care about it. It's close to his heart.
Oh,
I understand.
No doubt.
But if you're going to call out people and say that he's not your guy because of this, and you do the same exact thing as soon as you feel pressure,
That's what I'm saying. You lose your credibility. You're an angry man, right? You became an angry man. It's hard to trust you now.
and then I can't get out of my image all the TikToks he does about all the trans kids and all the TikToks he does about like just like all the stuff that he's been doing these days. I'm like, bro, I don't know, man.
Do you think he sold out?
Yeah, he's 100% sold out. I believe so. I believe in my heart he's a sellout.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing more powerful than money over a long period of time. That pressure of money over a long period of time. There's just I pity the man who are in positions of such opportunity where that money ends up changing. I'm not saying money's changed Ben. I'm just using an example. So there's another guy who I bought the T-shirt.
Mm.
Have you seen me wear the lobster shirt?
Mm-mm.
I should wear that one of these days. I have the T-shirt. It says, lobster. If you guys don't understand that reference, then it's all good. But the man's name is Jordan Peterson,
Mm.
and you and I both saw him today. I saw him today.
He's doing the same thing.
He's
Unhinged.
and it's not like it. Do we believe that free speech is relatively free? That's the key word, relatively, because there's still some words that I'd like to use, like the N word, that I'm not allowed to use yet. I thought Will was going to pick up on that. It's all
No,
good.
no.
No. But like Jordan Peterson, I
held him in such high regard.
Yeah, man, I have the shirt, and then now he's gone on this unhinged. I saw him kind of unhinged rant.
And he's done it
Yeah.
multiple times, and I constantly gave him a pass
Mhm.
because I'm like, he's a smart guy. He says right things. And this time around, I'm like, I can't do it anymore. I'm over this guy too.
There's almost a war on nuance because these influencers just are lacking the nuance to unpack the issue aside from their emotions.
Mm.
That's the problem, is they're letting their emotions get the better of them here. And peace. There could be people in the comment section like, come on, you guys don't know what you're talking about because you're the land that you love, Korea, hasn't been attacked yet.
Mm.
And maybe you'll feel differently when Japan invades Korea for the second time. Maybe so. We haven't crossed that bridge yet, but I think we're seeing the true colors of influencers and media stars in the world. And I actually, as much as it's somewhat disappointing, I actually can appreciate it, because now you know who these people really are.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm keeping a mental list of who I'm watching right now that is just off the rocker, that just can't keep their shit together, that have no regard of what they say, and the fact that they have a lot of people that take their opinions and their ideas from what they say, and they have shown zero regard to protecting that, to having some sort of integrity in what they say, and they speak completely emotionally. And like, you don't trust overly emotional men. You just don't.
That's what I'm saying. You can't trust an angry man.
And they're crying like children.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of crocodile tears these days.
And men should be men. And under pressure, you have to be the strongest. and under pressure and ultimate emotional stress, how you handle yourself really dictates who you are and what you're capable of.
Oh yeah.
And we're seeing clearly
Yes.
what a lot of these people are capable of, which is absolutely nothing. That
Mm,
they got famous just by saying words very well.
mm.
But the reality is there's no substance to it, that they are saying what they think people want to hear. And they
Yeah.
have no ability to control their own emotions.
You're not
You,
wrong.
you have to take everything they said and everything you've heard from them from now on with a grain of salt.
I think it is a smart media move in this highly explosive, Israel Palestine. The roots go so deep. I think it is a tactical and strategic move to just calm your shit and say nothing for a while. And it's not that you might not personally, favor one or the other or side with one or the other. That's up to your own predisposition. Like you can have opinions, you can have biases, and you can have people that you support. And if you want, you can have people that you hate. I don't understand hate. Like I really don't understand that idea. I've never hated anybody. It's just I don't have a hate bone in my body, so I don't understand what it takes to conjure up hatred towards someone else based on immutable factors like your faith or your religion or your skin color. Like that is something that I think I can have a lot of sympathy for a lot of men's plights because I've experienced men's plights. I think I can have a lot of empathy and experiential understanding of how other people's sufferings have affected them. But I'll tell you, Matt, straight to your face right now, I will never have any empathy or sympathy for people who hate.
Hmm.
And the reason is I've never had that feeling in my life. I've
It-
never hated anybody. Like I don't know what it takes to conjure up that emotion. It just doesn't exist. Now, I'm sure if you did something to my family, things might change. Like
Correct.
there's a switch, right? But that switch has never been hit for me. So like it's really hard for me when I'm reading these tweets and these posts of just such vitriol and toxic hatred towards people they've never met.
Yeah.
I don't understand. And so the question I asked you was how do free thinkers deal with this? You said don't give into the fear. I think likewise, if I can add my 2 cents, is don't give into the hate.
Mm.
Like, why is hate so profitable?
Yeah.
Maybe it's in the incentives behind it. I don't know.
Because they
Look, can I ask you just a blunt question? Have you ever hated something?
No.
Okay.
No. I think you have to be open-minded, that there are different perspectives and vantage points in the world, that people have different experiences. And how you perceive something can be different how I perceive it.
Mm.
And I understand that. I appreciate that. And I concede to the fact that we can see this differently and therefore feel different things about it.
Mm.
It's very
Mm.
It's very possible. I remember someone tweeted something about Ben Shapiro, and he said, if you're in the middle and you refuse to take a side, you're a part of the problem.
I hate shit
And
like
I
that.
was like, I
I
can't
hate you.
fuck this guy. Why? Most of America has no historical context about what's going on.
Yeah.
They don't understand. They don't understand 5,000 years of fighting in history.
Mhm.
All we know is what we've been told the last time this happened just a few years ago.
Right.
We have to take a side, and we have to side with you, and that's the only way that we're right.
Mhm.
That's such bullshit.
It's
It's so close-minded. They have no consideration of the fact that, how about you try to convince me?
Yeah.
How about you try to give me a logical way so that you can help me understand your side,
right.
instead of shoving fear porn in my face
Yeah.
and tell me I have to comply.
Exactly.
How are you any different than the people that you were criticizing just 1 year ago? You're the same.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, because you care, now you're allowed to do it. You're the same exact thing that you've been talking against for the last 2 years.
Let me ask this: which talk show host or content creator in the mainstream media, the legacy media, do you absolutely despise the most? Like, just tell me if you can conjure that up. Like I can tell you, Stephen Colbert, Rachel Maddow, like I don't hate them.
The girls at The View.
Yeah. Well, I don't listen. I just don't listen to them. It's just absolutely acid in,
The Rock?
in your eyes. Okay,
I
so
kind of hate The Rock.
I'm saying Stephen Colbert and Rachel Maddow. Whenever I see them, it makes me want to like dry vomit, if you know what I mean. And here's the point I'm trying to make: is now we have some of these people that we kind of sort of respect, that literally are now in the same league as Stephen Colbert dancing around in syringes, and
They're the same.
and Rachel Maddow, who will literally tell you who to hate.
Mm.
She will literally tell you, you need to hate these people. It's like, are you crazy?
They're the same.
Or Joy Behar.
We
She's
always
massive.
criticize all these people for, between 20, 21, 16 to 22, saying that you have to hate Trump, that you have to believe this, that you have to comply with all COVID orders, that you have. How dare you say all lives matter? What's wrong with you? You're a racist if you say that.
Oh, you're gonna get us kicked off YouTube.
All of these people that said that, these guys that are saying you have to believe what I believe, they're the same. They're no different.
No different.
Just because you believe the propaganda or you believe what they're saying doesn't mean it's not propaganda. And those guys are showing their face as propagandists.
Absolutely.
Every single one of them.
And let's take another vantage point here. It's sad. It's disappointing that some of our favorite influencers and communicators, maybe we'll put it that way, you're a communicator, are kind of showing us their true colors. But at the same time, we also have some really powerful revelations as well, thanks to this conflict. For example, Black Lives Matter. You just brought up All Lives Matter. We just saw Black Lives Matter official Twitter accounts from Chicago, LA, other locations. And what are they tweeting about? Have you seen those? They're tweeting about, save Hamas, save Palestine, and kill the Jews. For all the people out there who've sent Black Lives Matter all this money, look what you're getting for it. Look what you're getting for it. You're getting the exact hypocrisy that you paid for. Now, they're supporting evil. And you might say, well, Peter, would be different if Black Lives Matter supported Israel. Not with the rhetoric they're saying. They're saying we want this stuff to happen. Free them. Make sure that you liberate them. And it's like, well, if you do all of this, it requires the removal and or killing of the other side. Like that's how you're kind of bifurcating this opportunity, right? It's either somebody wins and the other people die, or that's just the optionality that we have. It's not good. None of this is good. But I love that people are waking up because they're seeing things like the organizations that they thought cared, like Black Lives Matter, and realizing that they're just a bunch of thugs and gangsters and grifters. That's all they are, just grifters, man.
We had the propagandists really lead the way for the last several years on the left. And we saw so many people on the left, liberal, extremely liberal, fall into the trap. Believe the narrative that they're pushed. Believe the narrative that they're told. We saw it and we all said, look at them. I can't believe they believe this shit. Now the right is doing the same thing.
Bro.
Putting them under the same exact spell, just a different issue.
Yeah, it's crazy.
If the establishment controls both sides, you don't do them both at the same time. It's too obvious.
Ooh.
You do one first, you normalize it, and then you do the other.
You actually just made me think of a hot take. I haven't thoroughly thought this through. But actually, I'd be kind of breaking up my own model here. Here's what I want to say. With all the anti-Jewish rhetoric that we're seeing across all over the place, maybe the Jews don't actually control the media like we say they do. Because if they truly controlled the media, then we would never hear about any of the anti-Jewish rhetoric.
I think it's because
some of you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Some of you guys believe that the Jews control all the media.
If you are trying to rile up the conservative side and get them under the same mind control that you've done to the liberal side, you need a boogeyman. You can't just give them an enemy that's far away. You have to give them a domestic enemy to fight against. In the beginning, for the liberals during 2016, 2020, the boogeyman was Trump. The boogeyman was rural America. It was white men.
Right? Joe Biden said that the number one issue facing America is white nationalism.
They had to give a divisive side to it. You can't push one side and get them under your control if you don't give them also the same, because it's proven it works. Why reinvent the wheel? If you said no one's allowed to speak poorly, who are they going to be mad at? How do you get them to buy in to your narrative?
You got to be mad at somebody.
So all of a sudden it's like, hey guys, we kind of need you guys to do this. What if they're controlling both sides? What if actually what if they have the anti and the pro going at the same time?
That's called
because the idea is that They control all of it.
Right. It's called controlled opposition, right?
Correct.
Right.
Because we're very familiar with that term now.
Yeah.
Right. Everything is controlled opposition.
Yeah.
Then why not have controlled opposition? Because if you're
maybe Matt Kim is controlled opposition.
If you're BLM, I'm just trying to put myself in the mind of BLM, right? And we want to show solidarity with a cause, even if you believe it. You don't make solidarity clause something so obvious and extreme as making a logo with paragliders. You don't. Even if they're stupid, you don't do that. You only do that because you really want it to be the trigger.
Yeah. Well, just like I told you, every logo I've ever made, it's all about penises. Dude, there's always intent. Exactly. You're not wrong. There's always a symbolism, right? There's always a deeper meaning. There's always intentionality, right? People don't wake up and like, hey, I want to make a paraglider with an AK-47 shooting people, right?
I mean, who does that?
No one does that.
Who sat there and go, huh, that's a good idea. Like this shows, no. This is intentional.
It's reactionary. It creates reaction.
Correct. Right. This is intentional to do it as maybe controlled opposition because we know the organization themselves, they're for sale.
Man, when you have so much power, Matt, so much influence over world happenings, it must be an amazing game of civilization. Remember that game, Civilization, Sid Meier's Civilization? I used to play that back in the day. It must be such an amazing, statescraft. It must be such an amazing world building experience because you have so much power that you don't have to wait for events to happen. You can manufacture your own events and profit off them at the same time.
Play both sides.
Damn, it's good to be a gangster when you're up top. Seriously, these guys are playing Civilization 5 on us. Sid Meier, they're looking down at all of us and they're like, well, you know what, if I just, because back in the Civilization, you had like these cheat codes where you can make an alien invade. You're like, you know what? Alien invasion. Wait, hold on. Pause. I need to make sure that all of our ammunition, our military, we got healthcare, we got to make money off this somehow. Okay, now alien invasion. Like seriously, that's what they're doing.
And if you and I, if we were just to pick a side, we're gonna go with the left.
We should do that.
If we just pick the side, our lives would be better.
We should do that.
It would be one.
Okay.
I truly believe that if we leaned in to all the conservative talking points that we just echoed what they want us to echo. I've told you, I've gotten the call, I've gotten the messages. Hey, can you talk about this? Can you talk about this? Can you talk about this?
Do they also ask you for within their bias to like support a particular side?
Of course.
Oh, okay.
Do
you want to read me one?
It's on my screenshot somewhere.
No worries. So I'm gonna actually offer up a challenge. I'd be willing to do this if you're willing to do it. Is that our next podcast in a week? I will pick a side. I'll pick Hamas.
No, it's not about picking a side. It's about which side's talking points do you want to amplify to the world for them.
Okay, so how about this? How about
Dude, they know that you don't mean it unless you're doing it regularly. You have to commit. They know.
I can sound pretty convincing.
No,
do you think I can sound pretty convincing?
One day is not gonna cut it.
But
you would have to devote
you would
3 months, and they were like, "All right,
that's
this
what
guy's on our side."
ChatGPT-4 is for.
Yeah,
it could summarize all the main salient points.
And then once you commit 3 months of your life to a certain side, I'm gonna be like, "Peter, it's time to come back," and you're in too deep. And there's no coming back. Peter's gonna show up with blue hair.
No, I'm just saying. I think
blue
it would
hair,
be a worthy
eye
episode.
makeup.
No, here's why.
One testicle cut off.
Oh my gosh!
I can't even recognize you anymore, Peter.
That's because I'm not Peter anymore. I have pronouns now, brother. Yeah. And my pronouns are. Oh shit. No, here's the mental exercise. I don't mind doing it if you're willing. You take all the talking points of the Israel side. I'll take all the points of Hamas side, and we can take an hour and we can fight it out. Because
they want to know that you're gonna commit to the machine. And if you show them that you're willing to bow to their machine, if you're willing to bow to their leadership, if you're willing to reiterate and say what they say and amplify their message, they'll let you in. It's just how it always works.
So are you saying from a meta level that you don't want us to do this
No,
this faux pseudo
we could do it for fun.
argument?
We could do it for fun, but I don't think it's gonna prove anything.
You don't think so?
No way.
Don't you think you'd learn
No way.
something? Because
No
I
way.
can research well.
No, they already know.
I can research historical
I-
artifacts that prove my point.
I would say 100% if there's lists of groups and people that they monitor and they've already categorized.
Us?
Mhm.
So we are outside the fold?
Well, I think that's why they keep on sending these messages. Will they take the money? Once you take the money, like, okay, hey, here's something else. Why don't you take the money
I
again?
bet you could teach me something about the Israeli-Palestine conflict from back in the 70s and 60s. If you
I
do
mean,
research.
So when they sent me, can you pull it up? Oh, I'll show it to you later. But basically, it's a text message, and they're like, "Hey, this is an issue that we should all care about. Have you heard that Hamas is attacking Israel, and the mainstream left media doesn't want to cover it? Therefore, if you were to make a video and post it to 3 accounts, we'll pay you $800."
Really?
Yeah. Oh, and by the way,
Damn, I'm not getting any of these offers. Where's my green?
here is a link that you click to get the talking points.
Oh, Jesus.
And if you click the link, the
You-
first thing that you get is a non-disclosure.
Oh,
I don't know what's behind it because obviously I didn't sign the
Of course.
non-disclosure.
of course you wouldn't sign that shit.
There is a non-disclosure, and once you sign it,
Wow.
you get given the exact talking points.
Do you know how many ignorant, unsophisticated, and immature influencers are getting that inbound and they're like, "Not NDA? What the fuck does this mean?" Oh, $800.
And that's my account. Now consider if you're a real big account.
Yeah.
How much money are you getting?
80,000.
Minimum.
Hmm.
80,000, 100,000 to make a video.
Oh yeah.
All of a sudden, you look around like, wait a second. We did this, me and Will did this the other day. I got one of these, I think, a couple weeks ago. And they wanted to talk about child trafficking at the border. You should care about this. You should make this video. We'll pay you this much money.
Hmm.
I was like, I don't want to do it.
Well, the answer is we don't do that shit. That's kind of our
And
thesis.
so I went into Instagram, I went to TikTok, and I typed in child trafficking border just to see how many people were talking about that same day. I was like, fuck. All these guys took the money.
Wow.
Every single one are talking about, because it's not a mainstream story.
Isn't this it?
It's propaganda. They want everyone to think about this story at the exact same time. And the same group, as soon as it's hit, they're like, oh, that's not important right now.
See,
You
guys,
need to talk about Hamas.
these are the insights that you won't get anywhere else. Because now that we're in this game, you are privy to the inside ball.
That is crazy.
And none of these other influencers are talking about the NDAs they signed to get
No,
that 18
because they signed the NDA.
Yeah, it can't.
You're gonna really break the NDA with the establishment? No.
No, not for $800.
No way. No way.
Maybe for 80,000. Yeah.
And I thought about it, right? Because there are times like, damn it, it'd be nice if we made some money doing this. You know, like it'd be nice.
Say less.
Like maybe we should, because I'm like, I care about this issue.
We care about free thinkers.
I make this video anyway. They even said when they were talking about the border, I had already made a video about the border. And they said, hey, since you already made a video about the border, we'll even count that as one video because they wanted 2 videos.
Wow, man, they're sharks, bro. They're selling you.
Yeah. They're like,
Woo.
we'll count that video as a video.
Wow.
All you gotta do is make one more and we'll double the fee.
Wow.
I'm like, and I left them on red. I didn't want to do it. They come back.
You know, guys, I hope you're not misinterpreting his sigh. His sigh is not a sigh of consideration. It's a sigh of sadness.
It's disgust.
Yeah, the better word. Yeah, it's not that he mulled over this for hours. It's like, oh, I really need that $800. No, his sigh is just like disgust and disappointment.
And they come back and they're like, all right, if you don't want to make another video, we'll just buy this video from you.
This game is money, baby.
And I'm
Let's
like,
go.
My first thought was, I can sell a video?
Right? The shit you learn.
And then I'm thinking, well, and then that one got me thinking. I was like, well, I already made it anyway. They didn't tell me to make it. I made it before they asked me to make it. So does that count? And then I realized I was justifying it. I was justifying myself to say yes.
I appreciate the honesty.
And obviously I didn't do it.
Clearly.
Because if you do it once, All they gotta do is just convince you, hey, fine, we sold the video. Next time they say, hey, can we buy another one?
Mm.
Hey, I see you're talking about this. Why don't you make this video? Oh, hey, make this video. Oh, and we'll pay you double now.
Yeah.
And they ladder you up, inch you in slowly by slowly. And then all of a sudden they're like, hey, we want you to make this video. And you're like, I don't want to do it. Like, well, we'll give you 3 times. And you're like, oh, fine.
Or even worse, when you get to the upper rungs, suddenly you're on Epstein's Island.
And then one day,
And then they're like, hey, if you don't do this for us, we're going to let the entire world know that we've been paying you for the last 18 months.
Yeah. And then
so you're fucked if you're
well,
what a terrible deal.
you take the money, you take the money, you take the money, you take the money.
And then they fuck you.
And one day you're like, I don't want to take it anymore. Because one day after
You grow a
took it, the money,
conscience.
and after they help you blow up, because once you take the money, they're gonna support you.
Yeah.
And you get big and you get big. And you're like, I have integrity now.
You grew a conscience.
I grew a conscience. I'm not gonna take the money any longer.
And then your handler will come to you and take you away like Kanye and deprogram
And then
you.
all of a sudden, you're canceled.
Yes.
And then I started thinking, think of all these people that got really big really fast and then they got canceled. Were they taking the money?
Ooh.
How else did they get so big so fast? And why did they ruin them so quickly?
This is an insider. This is insider knowledge.
Why?
Because they grew a conscience.
Because they were taking the money.
Yeah. And
They were
maybe
part of it.
yeah, they're part of the machine. You guys, Matrix is real.
I didn't want to know this. I wish they never contacted me. I wish I didn't know this stuff because
Now you know the inside ball.
that sucks.
Insider trading, baby.
I thought there were people honest out there. And I'm looking around and I'm like, damn, I kind of respected that guy.
That's unfortunate, man.
You
That's
know?
unfortunate. Well, now you're seeing the real tea leaves. Now you're seeing the real because you are now interacting. And I'm actually feel blessed that I'm not in the game where I'm interacting with these individuals. It's just saving me a lot of grief and heartache and all that stuff. But now that you've been able to pierce the veil, and in the you're behind the veil. You see the inside ball. You see the inside game. You see the economics and the economic incentives, and that is the stuff that the Ben Shapiro's that will never tell you about what's the inside ball. What's the inside economics that are making these things profitable. Yeah.
And then another scenario then. Specifically my Instagram account grew extremely fast. Ridiculously fast.
Hockey stick.
Like it's unheard of to gain 300,000 plus people in a summer.
Yeah. And I wish
Nobody
some
does
of my
that.
investments did that.
Nobody does that. And they keep on offering me and offering me, offering me. And so far, I'll say some stuff that maybe like it's very gray or borderline you can't say, but I've been saying it and they've been letting me go. What happens if you say no too many times? Is it over for me? Are they gonna cancel me? Are they just gonna kick me off? Is that over? Serious question. What
Well-
happens when you say no too many times to the hand that's trying to feed you?
There's too many precedents. There's too much precedence. There's too many examples of people like Icarus flying too close to the sun and then they get burned, right? And so the highest tier of that is trillions of dollars, Alex Jones. So that's essentially where they could take you. They could take you all the way to Chinatown, right? For $1 trillion that you owe. So can they ruin you? Absolutely they can. Would you have to go ridiculously independent? Probably. And that might be a great opportunity to announce the Kickstarter. No, not Kickstarter. The GoFundMe. The GoFundMe campaign for Matt. Get Matt out of jail in the future.
For my legal fund.
For the legal fees that are going to come, guys. It's GoFundMe/Eat a Peen.
So I don't know. I don't know how this ends. I don't know what that means at all. But I do know, like, seeing how the real economy behind social issues and political issues works, bro, it's so dirty.
We're already in Black Mirror, dude.
It's so dirty. And then I'm watching all this news going on around this event, and I see people so adamant
So angry.
and so angry. I'm like, are they
Why?
really angry?
Why are you so
Are
mad?
they paid to be angry? Are they paid to get you angry by them being angry? I'm like, I don't trust any of them. at all.
It's unfortunate. Maybe everything is Mid-Journey. Maybe everything is just AI, and we just don't know it, guys. All I know is that Matt and I are asking the legitimate, somewhat, edgy questions that I think many people in America are also asking, but do not have a platform and do not have a place to ask the question. And I think the service that we're providing, which is I can really appreciate kind of the entirety of this live stream, because we have a lot of freedom to speak, a lot of freedom to roam. And I appreciate it because we feel comfortable enough asking some of these tough questions, bringing up these issues, not trying not to take a side, but look at it as objectively as we can, which I think we're fortunate because you aren't Muslim. You're not a Jew. I'm not a Jew. I'm not a Muslim. So it's clearly far easier for us to extract ourselves out of that cultural context and the cultural complexities of that. But at the same time, I think we're doing a good service. We are fighting the good fight and being a medium and an opportunity for people to listen to two free thinkers who are trying to help other people free themselves from the matrix, whatever that is.
Because the reality is, if we are truly independently thinking, it's impossible for you to agree with everything we say. Impossible.
Not possible.
If
Statistical implausibility.
someone you follow says and you agree with everything they say of someone that you follow,
it's actually kind of scary if you think about
it just means they're saying exactly what you want to hear.
Mm.
Because it's impossible for two independent thinking people to have completely the same thought at all times.
Well said.
So if you feel like, I really like this guy, he says, I agree with literally everything he says.
It's probably a good hallmark for why you probably should slow your roll.
Maybe it's to find someone you disagree with a little bit.
Exactly. Slow your roll on that guy. You're consuming too much of the Kool-Aid there, for sure. Are we the anti-Kool-Aid? Is that what we are?
I don't know. I feel like I believe 100% in my heart that if we just sold out, if we said we're the Asian conservatives and we're going to mimic what all the conservative talking points are, and we're going to push all the red pill points.
That's a terrible branding.
If we were those guys, if we were the yellow red pillars.
You had to bring the race into it now, didn't you?
If we were, our account would probably be 10x, 50x. Because I think we're pretty good at what we do.
You're not wrong.
We're not, because we've shown that we're willing to question both sides.
We're willing.
They don't like that. How dare you go away from the narrative? Will they punish us later? Only time will tell.
We're willing to take that journey. Wouldn't you say?
Fuck it. Let's go.
It's an adventure, guys. LFG.
This is the fun part.
Let's go.
So,
is it time to put on the rave music? Because we were crushing that earlier for everybody out there. We were crushing the rave.
I think we have a lot of people that have just stuck around with us the entire time. So I think we close out the live stream by, if you have any questions and you want us to answer, I think this is a really good opportunity to kind of put your questions in, and we'll try to knock out a handful before we kind of gotta go. It's already 11:10.
Yes.
Anyone wants to ask anything, I think we go. And I think we're delayed by a few seconds here.
Okay. Yeah. So again, for everybody that's out there, thank you so much for joining the Matt Kim podcast. This is a special live stream on today, October 11th, 2023. We're doing a little bit of experiments with our A10 Mini and live streaming on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube at the same time. So we're doing some tests, but we're rolling out. And if you have any questions, certainly smash them into the chat. Let us know if we can answer anything that you guys got going on, or if you just want to say hi, we're okay with that as well.
Yeah, well, you can put them up or let us know, or you can read them out to us or something like this.
We're glad you guys are here. And we appreciate you listening this late at night.
I think it's something we can do.
Yeah.
I think it's something that I've been playing around the idea with. Maybe we need a Rumble channel for live streaming.
We definitely need a Rumble channel.
That may be better.
For sure. Then I can use the N-word.
Do you think the USA should just stay out of it and let them figure it out? Quotes. Of course, the US is always trying to be the police, but what do you think?
I'll give you mine. It might, and this, you can color this however you want. I live in America, Matt. Do you live in America?
Yes.
I would like America to be first.
Yes.
All right, I'm done.
I think it is foolish that we think we can solve the world's problems when we don't have any idea how to solve our own problems.
Here, here.
I think the rest of the world, when they'll say, "Oh, U.S. is coming to save you," they're like, "Huh? Aren't their streets overrun by homeless people?
Yeah.
Aren't they in a drug epidemic? Don't they have a mental health epidemic? Don't all their guys think they're girls and all their girls think they're guys?" And they're like, we're kind of good.
Yeah.
We really don't need you here.
Aren't
You're not going to bring that with you, are you?
Fuck, dude. And aren't their top 5 military leaders all women who are actually men? Dude, isn't that fucking depressing? Isn't it depressing that our leaders of our military are men dressed up as women? Like, take context, historicity, the last 5 years out of your mind. If you were going up against a country and their leaders of their military are men dressed up as women, would you fear them? Would you fear them?
Yes.
What?
What if they bring it with them? Because at this point, before when America used to go to help, people didn't have a full understanding of world history because we didn't have access to it.
I'm really waiting for you to drop this one on.
Now the rest of the world
where you're going
has an idea of world history. They know what happens. America shows up with their guns and they come in with their ideology.
Yes, American imperialism at its best.
If we're going to come in, we're going to save you, and if you want to keep the money, you now have to believe what we believe.
You have to install a bank too.
And they're like, well, if that means we got to believe what you believe, we're good. Same reason Africa doesn't take the U.S. money; they take the Chinese money, because when China shows up, they say, "Here's the money. We'll build you roads. We'll build you infrastructure. We want your minerals, and we're done."
Yeah.
U.S. shows up like, "We'll build your roads. We'll build your infrastructure. We'll give you money, and you have to accept trans rights." I'm like, "Oh, we'll go with the Chinese guys."
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, leave that extra flowery shit.
You're gonna give us the same money, but we get to live our lives the way we want to live our life.
Yeah,
and you guys tell me I have to believe what you believe, but we think what you believe is ridiculous.
Yeah. You take the other deal. You take the China deal.
So the trans admiral showing up is scary.
I get it. I see where you're going with that. It's so scary that you don't even want to engage with them. I get it.
What do you think about the way the stock market began pumping since the invasion? War brings money.
Bro, I saw a graph. I'll answer it. I saw a graph of all the major industrial partners of war: Raytheon, Boeing, Lockheed Martin, SAIC, Leidos, CSC, L3. How do I know all these names? Because I work in government contracting with big investments. So I know all these guys. Dude, you look at their stocks are all.
War is great for the economy.
It's good.
It goes back to the idea of this war and saving us from a war, leading up to a war, starting a war, and saving us from the war is probably the best thing Joe Biden could ever do.
It's good for business, baby.
It's so good for established business,
good
isn't
for
it?
business. Oof. Yes.
And they're meeting behind closed doors, having their secret meetings right now.
Yep. And they're just appreciating the bloodletting.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's so sick.
They're sitting going, we're going to make so much fucking money.
Exactly. Lindsey Graham's in the back. He's saying, man, my bloodline ends with my generation.
But I'm going to die rich.
But I'm a 50 cent this motherfucker. I'm going to die rich or die trying.
So I don't know how it turns out. I do know that I just really don't like the way things are going.
I don't want to instill any fear. I am very curious about what's going to happen in the next couple of days.
The bottom line is, don't fall in to the hate.
Yes.
Don't give in to the fear. Don't give in to these ideas that they are not only paid to tell you, but also emotionally reacting to tell you. That clear-minded, open-minded, logical people seem to have taken a back door in society in the last week. And that the people that I thought were logical, rational thinkers, they're showing themselves to be frauds.
It's unfortunate.
Be careful with what you do. Be careful what you think. And at the end of the day, you just got to think for yourself.
Stay frosty out there.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you guys next week. Love you guys. good live stream. That was good. I enjoyed that. I think we can do a better job incorporating people because people are with us for a long time, and maybe we do a segment and then we invite people in a little bit, and then we go on to the next segment if we're going to live.
Remember in the beginning when we were in your old office, we were almost too reactionary.
Correct.
Cutting off our own shit because we were trying to be too inclusive.
Correct.
So it's we're finding the balance.
Are we still live?
Yeah.
Oh, we're still live.